of the bracket. Both are consistent, highly skilled players. darthjarjar running a 4 Musketeer deck with...
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, 3 Musketeers and a Musketeer.
Get all 4.
Along with Elixir Collector. And otherwise, we got 2 Golem decks and a Lava Hound.
Wow.
Ash running double Graveyard.
I was super pleased to see at the King's Cup when darthjarjar showed up on stream that the influencers were talking about darthjarjar and how he was the craziest 3 Musketeer player. I'm so glad to see that kind of convert from the Super Magical Cup into kind of more mainstream.
Oh, there's Lumberjack defending. So good.
I mean, darthjarjar is without a doubt probably the foremost thought leader on 3 Musketeer decks in the game today. I mean, I don't know if he invented the archetype, but he certainly has carried it on longer and more loyally than almost any other player.
Lumberjack is so fast. Look at him. Must have had too much coffee in the morning.
All right.
Go Archers. Choo, 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 choo.
Still, a great defense there for Ash.
Yeah, for sure. He got away with a pristine tower. Can't argue with that. So this is the Golem deck out of darthjarjar. This is the variant that we've kind of seen that replaces Baby Dragon for Lumberjack.
Okay. I like it.
Lumberjack is very, very good against enemy tank decks, certainly because it does so much single target damage, and then it can run at very fast move speed. Lumberjack moves just as fast as a Hog Rider, and it can run up to the tower and threaten it, and also clean up these skeletons pretty effectively.
Now right there where the 2 golems were passing each other, is this where we saw Ash place that tombstone down? If the red golem would have pushed the blue over to the left, would he have ignored that? Because we saw that once, right? Is that the push that happened?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly where the tombstone was positioned, but if it is too much to the right side and the golem comes down at the right edge of that bridge, then yes, the golem could actually ignore that tombstone.
Fast Archer.
So far, darthjarjar has been getting the short end of the stick for these exchanges, and it really, I think, hurts because somehow the tombstone for Ash has been much more effective. I think the timing has just been a little bit better. We'll see if that's the case this time around.
There's been a lot better placement, I think, by Ash. I think Ash is very familiar with this deck. We've seen already a few times, like even right there, that Mega Minion's dead. Blue Mega Minion, that was an unfortunate play for darthjarjar. That's, I think, the 2nd or 3rd time that's happened in these exchanges where the Ash has just been a little bit better about getting his placements, his micro down for this matchup, and being able to run away with it. Uh-oh, but this Lumberjack might take it down. We saw Shades of Clyde.
Oh, there's just one more hit.
Okay, so if that is Zap Range.
But I think the Golem is going to do it.
Golem Zap.
Ah, you did it. No.
Zap it. Just zap it. You got
There it is.
All right, so now we're going into overtime, it looks like.
Fortunately for darthjarjar, he should be able to stabilize here. King Tower is pretty healthy. And he's going to take down the tanks, and these archers are really going to do good work against the...
Go for the 3 crown.
The skeletons, but I think that's kind of what darthjarjar wanted. He wanted to use the extra health on the King Tower to stabilize after committing so much elixir to try to make sure that tower was down before overtime.
I think, I agree. I think that Ash, I get why he would do that, but darthjarjar benefited because he basically could take 2,000 damage on the King Tower, and now it's what, just as hard to kill as a Crown Tower? Like, how much does that really matter in this matchup?
Yes. Momentum still definitely seemingly on Ash's side, and I think that darthjarjar is going to have to work hard to make sure he gets a good chance, a good foothold in this game, and this might be the opportunity. No Golem on the field for Ash, a bunch of supporting troops that can be traded out very efficiently, and this might be a big counter push for darthjarjar. Let's see how effective this Golem drop is.
Imagine if Lumberjack dropped poison. Whew. You could choose what spell Lumberjack drops. That would be sweet.
Or if they just made a new troop, like an alchemist.
Yeah!
Wouldn't that be cool, right? That little poison jar on his belt when he dies poison.
Or the,
Supercell, please.
Alchemist, arsonist.
Oh, yeah, for all the ones?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Lumberjack, he was getting hit by the central tower, but decides to run out of the range. And now, this rage could be really valuable if he dies in the graveyard.
Hold on.
Golemite's doing it!
He's at 68.
He can zap it, right?
Nope. 67.
67.
Oh, wow.
He's got a lightning.
There it is. darthjarjar, 2 crowns into overtime, picking up the first game between, like you said, Roman, these are like 2 amazing players clashing against each other.
The game's not over until the clock hit 0. It looked like Ash was going to win that game when he took the first tower, and especially when that last push, when that Lumberjack died with the tower still just barely alive, and then the Golemite was like crawling over with the rage, and then it dies, and there's 23 health left on the tower. He's got to zap it, which is kind of like wasted elixir, right? It's 2 elixir just to finish the tower up.
Yeah.
somehow managed to pull it off, defend, and we get the honor of seeing a 4 Musketeer deck.
Yay!
Got to figure out whether he wants to stick with Golem Graveyard or switch to Lava Hound Graveyard.
So how is he going to play that 4 Musketeers deck? What is the strategy there?
Well, the one thing that he's going to do that you're not going to see a lot of top players do, darthjarjar is one of the last elite players to stick with his good old Elixir Collector. So I would expect in this deck to see Elixir Collector and a lot of defense for it.
Okay.
Now, there's not really a lot of like minor, he's not going to see a minor in this matchup, but he might see something like a Graveyard come at the Elixir Collector.
Okay.
If he can defend it well, he builds up an Elixir advantage, lets you attack into him. Musketeer is one of the best defensive ranged attackers because it can't be fireballed, etc. So it sits back, defends, shoots, and if you ever drop something like a Giant or a Golem or a Lava Hound coming across, 3 Musketeers are happy to shoot it down.
And 3 Musketeers, because when you play them, it's more expensive than a Golem, right? It's 9.
Yeah, most expensive card in the game. 9
elixirs. So now it's just kind of like, are there ways that a Golem deck could then now go under a 3 Musketeer deck, or is it just because they're fast moving and fast attacking?
Because the Golem deck is really slow, not really.
Okay.
Because here's the idea about the concept of going under means that while they have a low elixir count, while they're vulnerable, you've got to hit them. Well, if you go to 2 elixir and then I play even a river golem, you're gonna have like 5 by the time that river golem even reaches you. It's just not that good. But there you go, we see that classic trade of the giant Mega Minion at the river.
This might be tower again.
I think that's the best play you can make against a golem deck early on. darthjarjar was very lucky that he had it in his opening hand, and that's probably why he plays giant in this 3 Musketeer deck, is because it gives him that option.
Wow.
Okay.
Lightning? Oh, he doesn't have the elixir for it. Ash doesn't have the elixir to lightning them.
Oh.
3 Musketeers making short work of that Golem, but it has gotten a good amount of swings on, and only 1 or only 2 of the 3 Musketeers remain now. Pretty big counter push, but 1 tower down means that the game situation still definitely favors darthjarjar.
There is no lightning in this deck.
No.
There's no.
That'd be so great.
There's no lightning in this deck. He's running Zap and Log in order to reduce the cost of his deck so that his graveyard can be played. But oh no, it looks like that's really hurting him. darthjarjar can play these 3 Musketeers with impunity. They were even placed really well. It's worth mentioning that in that bottom area behind the King Tower, between the King Tower and the Crown Tower, is a really good place to play it, because even if you do have lightning, how can you lay it down and actually have it hit the Musketeers? Because it targets the highest health thing around, and it's inclined to hit the King Tower, the Crown Tower, and not actually wipe the Musketeers off the board.
Yeah, again, Elixir Collector, no lightning. Cool, great. So let's just get some value from that.
But there's 10 elixir worth of tankiness coming down the river.
Right, Golem, Ice Golem. That's a combo that has actually proven to be very effective. I think it's going to be tough for darthjarjar to defend. It's hard for him to justify waiting and deploying 3 Musketeers for defense, and I think that might be what he tries to do here. He does, but he's going to lose a tower for it.
But that counterattack is going to be brutal.
Yes.
4 Musketeers already on the board.
And look at how much elixir darthjarjar has in the pocket.
Right. And that's the thing, is everyone kind of forgot about this Elixir Collector card. It turns out it's still really good.
Still great.
It lets you control the tempo of the game, so all these other decks.
Look at that melt.
No, they're 5
Musketeers!
Wow.
No, Musketeers go save.
What in the world is this? darthjarjar has the army of Musketeers.
The dream is real.
This is insane.
This is what Twitter has been asking for.
7 Musketeers.
Oh, man. Giant just swinging away. The Musketeers going for the archers. That looks like that's going to be the game. The swing. darthjarjar gets 2 crowns. 10 seconds for Ash to take a tower. It looks like that's not going to happen. And darthjarjar finishing with style here in our final game of the round of 8, pushing him to the semifinals.
Interesting, because I would have to question that second 3 Musketeer drop. Definitely not the ideal play, but
that was
doing it anyway.
That's the and one right there. That's the dribbling behind your back and then shooting it.
But get this, right? He played those 3 Musketeers. They got dunked. He got the tower anyways. That's how much momentum darthjarjar has.
How could have Ash defended that? Like what
he probably, Lava Hound's pretty weak against 3 Musketeers, but if he would have switched to the Lava Hound deck, he would have had tools like Fireball in order to actually combat it a little easier. That was just kind of a tough matchup. We talked about, preparing for the meta decks and stuff. I bet you Ash's decks are really good against other Golem decks, against Giant Bowler decks. No one was preparing for 3 Musketeers.
Not the 18 Musketeer deck.
Yeah. Right. True story, I actually had a challenge to for anyone, if anyone could get 7 Musketeers out in a real, actual like tournament game, I'd give them $10, a one-time bet. And the first person to claim it was Marcel P.
Really?
True story.
Yeah, I saw that.
Remember that? Marcel P was the first to claim it. Darth does it in the highest stakes game, right? The
on,
Clash Royale
on
North
broadcast
America.
Yeah,
for
no big
everyone
deal.
to see. Congratulations. That is going down in style. All right, let's go into our replay of that amazing, amazing match.
All right, let's take an in-depth look. I've been thinking about the Lumberjack a lot, and this save is absolutely crazy from darthjarjar. In a super key moment in the game, he somehow gets his Lumberjack up to the tower. Now, I want to hold the replay for a moment here. Let's hold and take a look at this situation. We have the Golem and a Lumberjack on the bridge, and they're just about positioned to go for that tombstone. The log is actually well placed, enough so that it will actually roll over that first tombstone and take it down. The important part to look at here is when the skeletons and that log clears through the tombstone, as well as the skeletons that will pop afterwards, the second tombstone is actually too far to attract the Lumberjack. Roll the replay. We'll see what happens from here on out. Watch the log come in, take down all the skeletons. The Golem goes for the second tombstone, but the Lumberjack actually makes it to the tower. Big lightning strike on all 3 of those units, the tower, the Ice Golem, and the Mega Minion itself, and he does an insane amount of damage so quick. And finally, once that Golem is done dealing with the tombstone, the Golemite actually reaches out, gets one swing, gets a death damage, and that's enough for Ash to close it out. All right, let's go back to the top of this replay and take a look at this again in real time. Now, remember to pay attention to the fact that this Golem coming around, normally the Golem and the Lumberjack will go to both of those tombstones, but the fact that all the units were cleared out before the Golem was too far down the road means that the closest tower to him was actually the Crown Tower. And he gets up and does a ton of damage.
Another thing to keep an eye on is that River Golem prevented Ash from having the extra elixir needed to maybe block the Golemite, kill the Lumberjack, anything like that. River Golem is a big commitment, and it didn't 3-crown the tower.
We also talked about how right after that, kind of the aggression that Ash played against the King Tower kind of maybe allowed him to come back, stabilize, and then actually have that fight to push the win.
Ash, unfortunately eliminated in the top 8 round. I think with Marcel P earning his ticket to the arena battles, Ash might be our highest profile, most consistent, highest skilled player that is yet to stamp a ticket. This is, I believe, his 3rd or actually maybe even 4th top 8 performance. He's been here multiple times, and he's usually only fallen to other very elite, well-known players. So Ash, you're out today. We've got at least 4 more qualifications to go. Come on back soon.
You gotta win them all. All right, let's go ahead and pull up the bracket now, as we have our semi-finalists here. Up first, when you guys come back from the break, it's gonna be Lupanji versus Popcorn, and then Goat versus darthjarjar. All right, guys, so far, just in your mind, fresh highlights for me. And I'm going to go ahead and steal that 7 Musketeers, because that's all I can think about right now.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It's just like a firing line. Oh, so good.
Just
7
showing
Musketeers
off
is
there.
a lot. I really enjoyed watching the Goblin Barrel decks play out. There were interesting ones that were, I mean, I thought that people were going to play Goblin Barrel and they were going to kind of replicate the minor Inferno Tower Goblin Barrel cycle. But it seems like people were already beginning to innovate, throwing 3 Musketeers in their Goblin Barrel deck, playing Hog Rider in their Goblin Barrel deck, and really those are very, very different decks, right? It's not really that similar to a minor Inferno cycle.
Yeah, I mean, the meta the beat goes on, brother.
Continues to
Check it
change.
out. 8 decks, only 1 that you would say is like, oh, the Golem
meta
Baby
deck.
Dragon deck that we've seen a million times.
Yeah.
darthjarjar's running I guess a Lumberjack variant, but other than that, it's all very different original stuff. So
I love it.
Can't keep
great.
a single deck down for too long.
No.
Yeah, let us know on Twitter what your favorite deck is so far tonight. # ClashNA Open. I'd be really curious to know.
Yeah.
I mean,
what
those
deck are you guys
Musketeers,
running
I
on the
can't-
ladder? What do you guys not like running up against? Maybe if you let us know, these 2 amazing gentlemen can give you tips and tricks on how to conquer those dreaded decks. For me, it's any lightning. Just if you guys have lightning, don't run lightning.
Don't play
anymore.
Christian.
Yeah, don't run lightning. All right, guys, we're gonna go to a quick break, but when we come back, our first matchup between Lupanji versus Popcorn. Don't go anywhere.
Oh.
7